This is SpaceTime Series 29, Episode 61, for broadcast on the 22nd of May 2026. Coming up on SpaceTime, the latest observations of interstellar Comet 3i Atlas using 2 spacecraft instead of just 1, the shocking data in new AI models of our Milky Way galaxy's supermassive black hole, and the Isle of Rum listed as Britain's second dark sky sanctuary. All that and more coming up on SpaceTime.
Welcome to SpaceTime with Stuart Gary.
Astronomers have used 2 separate spacecraft to obtain new ultraviolet spectrographic images of the interstellar Comet 3i Atlas as it continues its outbound journey from our solar system. The ultraviolet spectrograph instruments aboard ESA's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer or JUICE spacecraft and NASA's Europa Clipper mission have made unique observations of the interstellar visitor, simultaneously imaging both hemispheres of the comet and detecting this vagabond's ultraviolet emissions. Only the third recognized interstellar object, 3i Atlas, entered our solar system in July of 2025. The new study's principal investigator, Kirk Rutherford from the Southwest Research Institute in San Antonio, Texas, says that as the comet passed between JUICE and Europa Clipper, his team were able to coordinate observations between the 2 spacecraft. Rutherford and colleagues observed hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon emissions. Now, these elements are produced when gases escaping from the comet's nucleus break apart into atoms when exposed to sunlight. The ultraviolet spectrograph is one of 10 instruments aboard the JUICE spacecraft. The JUICE mission has overarching goals of investigating potentially habitable worlds around the gas giant Jupiter, as well as studying the planet system as an archetype for gas giants both in our solar system and beyond. So observing an interstellar comet close up and personal was bonus science. The resulting rare and unique dataset includes gas emissions and scattered dust. It's the first time astronomers have had simultaneous views of a comet's coma of escaping gas and dust from 2 separate directions. Europa Clipper showed the night side of the comet with a great deal of scattered dust, while JUICE imaged mostly gaseous outflows on the day side. Comets are composed of water ice, frozen carbon dioxide, and other materials. As they approach the Sun, comets heat up, causing their internal ices to sublimate and escape into space. The authors have found higher levels of carbon emissions from 3i Atlas than expected, especially when compared to comets from our own solar system. Observing the trends of emissions over several days revealed how the ratios of these molecules changed and how the comet evolved during its journey through our solar system. By studying the ratio of water ice and carbon dioxide, scientists can compare the composition of this interstellar comet to comets native to our own solar system, thereby helping them to understand how different the star system where 3i Atlas was formed is compared to our own solar system. 3i Atlas was discovered entering our solar system last year at a speed of 61 km per second on a highly eccentric path with a hyperbolic trajectory, confirming that it originated from well beyond our solar system, apparently in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius in the Milky Way's galactic center. The vertical velocity of 3i Atlas is quite high compared to those of nearby stars and other interstellar objects. That means the comet's following a tilted orbit around the Milky Way, and therefore belongs to either the thin or thick disk populations. The thick disk mainly consists of older stars whose compositions have lower levels of heavy elements compared to the Sun. A study led by Matthew Hopkins and colleagues estimated with 68% confidence that 3i Atlas is between 7.6 and 14 billion years old, based on the typical ages of stars in the thick disk. And this means that 3i Atlas could be much older than our solar system, which is 4.6 billion years old. In fact, it may well be the oldest comet we've ever seen. The only other confirmed interstellar visitors to the inner solar system are 1I Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. 1I Oumuamua was first detected back in January 2017, as it was already leaving the solar system. It appears to have come from roughly the direction of Vega in the constellation Lyra, and it was leaving our solar system in the direction of Pegasus. It was rocky and shaped like a cigar. 2I Borisov was discovered in August 2019. It entered our solar system from the direction of Cassiopeia near the border with Perseus, and this indicates it originated from the galactic plane rather than the galactic halo. It left our solar system in the direction of telescopium and is taking roughly 9,000 years to travel a light year relative to the Sun. This is SpaceTime. Still to come, shocking data in new artificial intelligence models of the Milky Way galaxy's supermassive black hole, and Scotland's Isle of Rum, listed as Britain's second only dark sky sanctuary. All that and more still to come on SpaceTime. A new study has discovered that our Milky Way galaxy's supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A star, is rotating almost as fast as the laws of physics allow, and its axis is pointing directly towards the Earth. Located some 27,000 light-years away at the galactic centre, Sagittarius A star has some 4.3 million times the mass of our Sun, and it's the anchor point around which our entire galaxy revolves. The new findings, reported in the journal Astronomy, are based on artificial intelligence computer-driven models. They show the monster black hole's external spin represents a boundary in general relativity, beyond which a black hole's event horizon would theoretically vanish. By training artificial intelligence on millions of simulations, the authors were able to filter through the blurry, noisy data of the galactic centre to identify Sagittarius A star's precise mechanics, which are currently frame-dragging the very fabric of space and time at an astonishing rate. The study also confirms observations from the Event Horizon Interferometer Radio Telescope that found that the black hole's axis is oriented directly towards the Earth, an alignment that facilitates our unique view of its light-bending silhouette. However, the models are also showing unexpected turbulence in the surrounding magnetic fields. And that challenges current hypotheses of how matter and energy interact near a black hole's event horizon, the point of no return beyond which matter falls forever into the singularity. The new findings support earlier observations that the heart of our galaxy is far more dynamic than previously thought. It means Sagittarius A star is far from quiescent, and it offers a rare glimpse into the extreme physics that shape the evolution of galaxies and the behaviour of space-time itself. And this is SpaceTime. Still to come, Scotland's Isle of Rum, listed as Britain's second dark sky sanctuary, and later in the Science Report, new warnings of a link between taking omega-3 supplements and your risk of dementia. All that and more still to come on SpaceTime. The Isle of Rum has become the first place in Scotland to achieve dark sky sanctuary status, one of just 23 places around the world so designated by Dark Sky International. Now, a new documentary funded by the Royal Astronomical Society has showcased the Inner Hebrides community's efforts to gain this status. The Isle of Rum, spanning just 13 kilometres, is only the UK's second dark sky sanctuary, joining Bardsey Island in Wales. With no public street lighting and a population of less than 40 full-time residents, the remote island offers unparalleled opportunities for stargazing. The hope is that such status will help boost the island's economy through increased visitor numbers and activities that can ensure the community can continue to act as responsible custodians of the island's nature. The Isle of Rum removed all public lighting in 2008 and followed this up with a community-wide initiative to replace household and business outdoor lighting as well. The island's home to a rich diversity of wildlife, including seabirds, golden eagles, white-tailed sea eagles, red-throated divers, and over 120,000 breeding pairs of Mannix shearwaters. The island's future plans include creating an observing tower for enhanced stargazing, the installation of an all-sky camera and weather station for global viewing, and increased education and outreach programs for visitors and residents. Scotland Astronomer Royal Professor Catherine Haymans supported both the Isle of Rum's application for the Dark Sky Sanctuary status and the making of the documentary Rum's Dazzling Dark Skies. Haymans says the film shows Rum's aspirational journey, seeking to achieve international recognition as a dark sky sanctuary, showcasing its uniqueness in the UK and its access to genuinely dark skies and aurora sightings. And she says a new generation of stargazers has been inspired by the island's commitment to the project. Local resident Alex Mumford organised the island's application for the Dark Sky Sanctuary status.
We started our application for the Dark Sky Sanctuary status maybe 2.5 years ago now. I contacted a local astronomer on Instagram who came here to run a planetarium event. So he came and we did some local community events, we did some work in the school, and he says, have you ever thought about doing a dark sky application? So we've had to do a lot of work on the ground with changing a lot of the lights, a lot of work community level, just trying to get people understanding what it's going to mean to the place longer term. Now we're at the stage where we're on a 120, 130 page document with all the work we've done, what the future looks like over the next 5-10 years. When we started, we were shooting for community status, which is a different status and a different level to what we're looking for. We were advised to go for the highest level due to how great our skies are here, and that's what we're on right now. Opening our season up beyond October would be fantastic for the island. There's many communities that almost close up over that time up here, but to make it a viable option all year round could change local businesses, could change more opportunities for more people to come out and live here. More grant funding might become available. Hopefully we've got a new amenity hub coming up. Being up in the islands and highlands means that sometimes these things take a bit longer, but the plan's there, so the future is definitely a positive one.
This is Space Time. And time now to take another brief look at some of the other stories making news in science this week with a science report. A new study has raised fresh warnings about the ability of omega-3 supplements to help combat age-related issues. Omega-3s are often marketed as supporting cardiovascular health and reducing the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. However, a new study reported in the Journal of Prevention of Alzheimer's Disease suggested they may actually be linked to a faster decline in cognitive function. The study examined cognitive and brain imaging scans looking for changes over 5 years in 273 omega-3 users and compared them with similar scans in a control group involving 546 non-users who were matched for age, sex, genetics and diagnoses. The results showed that those taking omega-3 supplements displayed more rapid decline across key primary cognitive assessments. In fact, the scans revealed a significant drop in brain glucose metabolism, which the authors think may be linked to omega-3 supplementation. Myanmar state-run media is reporting the discovery of a giant 2.2-kilogram ruby. The 11,000-carat precious gemstone was discovered near Mogok and is reported to be one of the largest rubies ever found. The rock has a purplish-red colour with yellowish undertones. While smaller than a similar 21,450-carat ruby found in the same area in 1996, this new discovery is considered to be more valuable due to its superior colour, clarity and overall quality. The Australian military will now go ahead with the development of the new Speartooth underwater drone. C2 Robotics will build the autonomous vehicle, which will focus on intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, strike and logistics operations at sea. Speartooth is optimised for seabed warfare, reaching areas Ghost Shark can't. Company behind the project, C2 Robotics, has already developed counter-drone technology, which is being deployed to conflict zones in Ukraine and the Middle East. Investigators have now revealed the full scale of Dubai's infamous cancer-curing cult, which claims it can cure not just cancer, but also HIV and even regrow amputated legs. The cult operates by luring vulnerable families and encouraging them to reject medical healing in favour of fantasy. The Skeptic's Tim Mendham says the investigators, including women's rights campaigners and the founders of Dubai Watch, say that it's turned Dubai into a dumping ground for some of the world's worst criminals.
Well, this is what the skeptics come across all the time, of course, with pseudo-medicine. What harm does it do? Quite a lot, actually. It's only because it takes people away from proper medical treatment that could help and instead substitutes some quack cure that probably doesn't help and it doesn't stop the disease or whatever it is that is progressing through your body, and therefore you waste your time on something which doesn't work. A classic example is Steve Jobs. Someone who's been through developing computers and things you would think would be pretty sort of cluey, but he had pancreatic cancer and he sort of went and tried, rather than try evidence-based treatments, etc., he went to Asia and Thailand, I think, and had all sorts of alternative stuff and then died. And then he realised the alternative stuff wasn't doing a lot of good. Yeah, it was too late.
Pancreatic cancer usually is a death sentence anyway. It's a horrible thing.
That's right.
Say. You don't know you've got it until it's too late.
Anyway, this thing in Dubai, the one they're specifically talking about, is a thing called theta, healing. See, there's a brainwave thing, and yes, it exists, and it's supposed to be associated with calming and hypnagogic states and that sort of thing, and makes you feel good. But this is saying that, as happens with a lot of these things, that something which is science-based becomes applied to all sorts of different medical areas, totally unproven. This one in particular, a group in Dubai, is claiming it can cure HIV, it can regrow amputated legs. Cancer is one of the easiest things to cure, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's encouraging people who are desperate to go to a place like Dubai, which is Islamic, highly religious. If you step out of line from a religious point of view, you can be in big trouble. However, it allows a lot of this sort of pseudo stuff to come in there. It used to be the case that Mexico had a lot of clinics to supposedly cure cancer, and they were practicing in Mexico. So it looks like Dubai might be the same sort of place. One of the people they look at in particular was someone who said that it's about awakening the masters, and someone said, I've always been fascinated by spoon benders, but my mind had a doubt that I can do it. Today I bent this very sturdy spoon from the first attempt. Money to workshop.
Yellow's got a house in Dubai now, has he?
It's now part of their course. And if you speak to a lot of skeptics, I know people who are skeptics who can bend spoons quite easily. Thank you very much. Nothing particularly clever. Sleight of hand, magician's trick. And if you start using that as an example of your medical expertise, then you really should go somewhere else.
That's the skeptic's Tim Mendham, and this is Space Time. And that's the show for now. SpaceTime is available every Monday, Wednesday and Friday through Bytes.com, SoundCloud, YouTube, your favourite podcast download provider, and from SpaceTimeWithStuartGarry.com. SpaceTime's also broadcast through the National Science Foundation on Science Zone Radio and on both iHeartRadio and TuneIn Radio. And you can help to support our show by visiting the SpaceTime store for a range of promotional merchandising goodies, or by becoming a SpaceTime patron, which gives you access to triple-episode commercial-free versions of the show, as well as lots of bonus audio content which doesn't go to air, access to our exclusive Facebook group, and other rewards. Just go to SpaceTimeWithStuartGarry.com for full details.
You've been listening to Space Time with Stuart Gary. This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.